they weren't taught the fundamentals. It came so easy, they took it for granted. They just think it's going to always be that way. And then reality sets in. And they don't know how to make decisions.
Can't manage it.
They can't manage it because they don't know how to manage themselves. Remember I say in the book, I was told, if you don't know how to manage yourself, no one will ever let you manage anything of theirs.
Yeah.
And if you have the capacity to manage all your own things, and you don't know how to manage yourself, the results are still the same.
Yeah.
You lack management. You don't know how to manage.
Comparing yourself to others leads to jealousy and a lack of self-love and empathy. Instead, reflect on how far you've come. That's kind of having people center their thinking within themselves.
Yes.
Isn't that somewhat selfish? Or is there a value or a principle there that we need to learn?
It is in combination. There's a part in the book where I said, where my mentor told me, apply yourself more selfishly. Right? Because if you don't look out for yourself,
who's going to look out for you?
Exactly. Human beings prioritize number one. You got to ask yourself, who's the number one person in your life? For the most part, it's you. It has to be you. Because if you are not capable of helping yourself, how can you help someone else? Right? You can't. And that principle has to be first and foremost. A basketball player is so good that he can go all the way to the NBA. He applied himself selfishly because he didn't have to. He could have stopped halfway and helped someone else instead of continue helping himself.
Yeah.
It doesn't make you selfish. Applying yourself selfishly doesn't make you selfish, right? It allows you to achieve your goals.
Yeah.
It allows you to become that person that can help other people.
But when you are deprived of that training coming up, how can you really police yourself or manage yourself to the point of going to the extreme and reach the success?
Failures. Every time you fail, it's an opportunity to do something different. Otherwise, you're insane, right? The principle of the concept of being insane is doing the same thing over and over and over, getting the same results. But so failure is a very good motivator. But again, your mind still has to be tuned to say, okay, I failed 5 times, right? What can I do differently? You have to ask that question, and then you have to act. If you don't change, nothing changes, right? When I was going to school, I love history, I love geography, math. I wanted to get just as high a grade as anyone else in the class, and even higher. But to do that, I had to study. So I had to apply myself. You don't apply yourself, nothing gets applied. I mean, it's the same thing over and over and over. And you have to do it selfishly. I shouldn't want to only be where you are comfortable with me. I have to be where I want to be and where I can be pleased with myself. And that you have to do it.
Yeah.
It's nobody can do it for you.
when you understand that, for you, the sky is the limit.
The sky is the limit. Exactly.
But I'm kind of looking at the deprivation that I'm referring to is how things has changed nowadays. More homes. Well, there are chores that you can have in your homes, but we don't raise animals, which gives you some early managing skills because you have to make sure this is done even before you go off to school. But today, in our generation, it's very different. Our parents then not finding things for people to do that can help them in growing up, or they've been doing it all for the whole house, it seems, and then leave the child without anything to manage to the point where, they don't get that privilege.
Because I think when we were growing up, our parents of course, raised by their parents with those things, right? So if you go way back, children was sort of an investment. There was a lot of big families. And the idea was, if I have this big family and I have a farm, I can't pay people to work on the farm. So you had big families and all the kids work on the farm, right? And so as things got better with us, parents start saying, I want to give my child more than what I had. I don't want my child to have to work in the field. I don't want to have my child to do that. And so you start giving so much that you give too much, right? My wife and I, raising our daughter at the age of 8 or 9, we started applying management skill to her. And her chores, because she grew up in the States, so it's a whole different, she didn't have that island, small knit community.
Yeah.
But her chores was she had to wake herself up. She had to prepare her own breakfast. She had to pack her lunch bag. And call me when you're prepared to go out the door, right? And every week, there's the wash machine. Here is how you turn it on. This is how you wash your clothes. Even the laundry basket was a 3-path. This is how you sort your clothes, whites, colored, darks. And this is how you use the wash machine. And every Saturday afternoon, your laundry had to be done, your room had to be clean, and your clothes had to be packed. And for that, I think she got $40 or something like that. So it was chores, it was financial management at the same time, because now that money you get is yours, and then they rewarded.
Yeah.
Because this is how life works, right? Yes. You go to work, you have a responsibility to get to work, you have to do your job, you get paid.
You're helping me, this is the business of life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That is the business of life. If you don't conquer those things early, you struggle with them. These people, 20s, 30s, don't know how to
wash properly.
Yeah.
Yeah, they put everything together, and then everything runs into one, and then everything spoils.
They don't even know how to do laundry. They don't even know the basics of that. Yeah. And
so who do you blame then? And I'm asking you as if you are an expert here, but I'm here to talk about what you've written in the book. But what I see that is beneficial, and why somebody should really make sure they have this book in their record, personal library, is that how these chores certainly help you to manage yourself to the point where you become successful in business, because that managing skills was learned throughout the ages.
Yes.
And nowadays it's very different, because children are basically left with nothing, no sense of responsibility.
My first sets, like when my daughter was I think 3, we had a room in our house that was a playroom. And at the end of playtime, we both each took a toy and threw it inside of a box. I took one, then she took one, I took one, and she took one. And then together, we pushed the box in a corner out of the way. That's the first step. Because children do what their parents do. And as a parent, you have to lead by example. Because your kids, you are the first teacher. So everything, if you really want to increase their chances, you already know a lot of the things that doesn't work for yourself. Don't teach them those. Teach them all the things that you know work. And if you start there, you start building on that. So by the time that kid is of age, a lot of the things that other kids are learning, your kids already did that. And now they're learning other things.
Yeah.
Because everything you learn, you have. You don't unlearn.
Yeah.
Right? And then you start learning more things and more things and more things.
Calvin, I have to say that we're talking about your book, of course, and one of the things that I noticed in your book that I think is very creative is the series of questions that comes after every chapter kind of tug the reader in to see themselves in the story.
Yes.
And I have to ask you, this is one of the questions that you asked, and I have to ask you, if you could instill one key belief or a piece of advice in a child to set them for success, what would it be?
You have to think, you have to imagine, you have to have an imagination, right? And your imagination is limitless. once you have that, which one of those imaginary things are you determined to succeed with or in? And then you commit yourself to it, because we achieve what we commit to, right? If you don't commit to come in to do this program, it doesn't happen. You must commit. And then as you grow older, your goals will change. You know, one time you want to be this, the next time you want to be that. But eventually you zero in on something. And keep in mind, it's your goal. It's your dream. It doesn't belong to someone else. I could tell you whatever I want, but your goals are your goals. It's your dreams. And you have a duty to pursue them, commit to them, be persistent, dedicated, if you want to achieve them. Because if you don't achieve them for yourself, you don't achieve them.
So the idea, the piece of advice is to
dream. Imagine, dream,
yes,
focus, and pursue your goals and dreams.
What it is you want to do or
whatever
become.
it is, yeah. I'm not going to tell you what you should be.
Yeah.
Because you know what you want to be.
Correct.
It's what you want to be. It's all about you.
Yeah.
And that is part of applying yourself selfishly to yourself. It's not being selfish. It's applying yourself selfishly.
Because I have a critical mind, I was wondering if it contradicts the whole idea of community, where you even write in the book that, you know,
we are our community. And someone called me, Bree, and she's in Anguilla. She wrote a book also, and she says, you know, I have to start working on my resource circle. A lot of people, I mean, we say, oh, we're networking. Are we networking or are we just saying hi? You know what I mean? Hi, nice to meet you. That's not a resource circle. A resource circle is when we are our community, right? No man is an island. No one person knows everything or can do everything. So I stick with the thing that I do well. And anything else that I need to complement the thing that I do well, I need someone else who do that thing well. And so I have to connect with that person. But they also have to be part of my resource circle. And once I form that circle with all the things and people that I need, I also have to become a resource to that circle. Because if you don't, just look at a clock. You're at 12 o'clock, and as the hand is going around, when it reaches 12, you stop it. Then everything stops, right? And so we have to have that. This has been part of my life. So whenever I need something, or I need someone, or I need an idea, I need help, I need to go to the next step, there is always someone I can call who can help me and point me in the right direction. You know, and we need to do that. You need that in your life, period. Otherwise, you start to go, you become like Samaritan traffic. You go and you stop. Then you go and you stop. And you go and you stop. And you can't get to where you want to go because...
I can talk to you all day about this. I want you to touch on one more thing, because you beat me to the punch this morning in the studio.
Yes.
And you wrote about punctuality.
Yes.
What is there about punctuality? Do you think it needs to grow on us, or that is something that we need to make sure that it's mandated? When you have to be a certain place at a certain time, give yourself enough time before that time to make sure that you are on time.
On time, yes.
So
time is very important, right? So we do so many things on time, and then we do so many things not on time. Why? Because, again, you achieve what you commit to, right? Kids going to school, for the most part, get to school on time. If they have to go to a play, they get to play on time. They have to go to baseball practice, they get to baseball practice on time. But if you tell them to meet you at a place for 3 o'clock, they show up at 3:30 because they didn't see that thing with you was like just like everything else. And that's the mishap that I had. I showed up 20 minutes late, 20 minutes late.
17, you say?
Yes, 17. And Uncle Bill basically said, you were late. We had an agreement, right? So if me and you we did make an agreement. We make an agreement that I'll be on at 10. Well, I need to be here for 10.
Yes.
If I'm not here for 10, I broke the agreement that me and you had. And now you're at an inconvenience. Or you say, you know what? This is 5 minutes before. Calvin is not here yet. He didn't call.
I'm on.
I'm on,
Yes.
and I know John wants to be on. I'm going to call John. So now you move on to something else. And by the time I show up, John is here, and I'm like, well, Wendel, what's going on? It's like...
Great meeting, man. I have to admit that it really kept me hooked.
Yes.
All the way. And folks, you need to get a copy of this book. By the way, this afternoon at 5, it will be officially launched at Pineapple Pete, and you are invited. You get a chance to get a copy of the book. Is it on Amazon, you said? Is there
It's on Amazon.
else?
It's on Amazon.
Online?
You have Kindle. You have Amazon. It can be shipped to you. I also have it on my website, GrammyBrown.com.
Okay.
And you have the ebook. You could download it, have it instantly. It's only $9.99 for the ebook and $19.99 for the physical book.
Yeah. Now, the thing is, when you're ordering it online, you have to pay for the shipping. It costs you a little bit more. So
Amazon is minimal shipping. If you order it from my website, I think our cap for shipping is about $7. But if you're in St. Martin, you get free delivery. Yes.
Why
you
not?
get free delivery. Or you just go in any one of the bookstores or come at the launch this afternoon and you can pick up your book and it gets autographed and, you know, it's.
Thanks for sharing. What's next?
What's next? I have a second book coming out. So if you go to my website, GrammyBrown.com, my next book is called Gabriel, and that's a crime fiction.
Oh.
And there's a free download for it. I give 100% discount.
Yeah.
And it's called
But
Gabriel.
that's going to be a fiction, but this is a memoir. This is
a memoir.
This is real life.
It's going to be in 3 parts. So I broke it up in three parts because they're a combination of 3 different audiences. So this one, a lot of teenagers can really get into this and take a lot of value from it. You know, anywhere from the age of 14 or 12 forward. But if you're under 12, I would say parents should read the bullying story with you first, so you make sure it doesn't, you know, you really understand it. Because I got into trouble also. It's not like I'm a saint and everything was smooth. It was not.
Were you bullied?
Oh yeah, a lot. Even my name. Hence the Calvin and the Grammy. So when I came to St. Martin, because I was teased so much about Grammy, which is what everyone in station knows me as.
Yeah.
When I came to St. Martin, I just used Calvin, which was a home name.
Yeah.
You know, Kittitian parents always have your home name and then your real name. And so I used Calvin in St. Martin. That's why everyone in St. Martin knows Calvin.
Yeah.
Nowhere else in the world people really know that name.
This was a little strange for me because I didn't know you had a speech issue, but you do have.
And I've always had that, and that compounded. And then being I was a tall, skinny boy. And being big,
No, but
also
when you're tall today, it's always a plus. People say, "Oh, you should be a basketball player."
Yeah,
So it's not anything to look down on. When you're tall, it's like it's a plus.
But it works both ways because I didn't even play sports as a child. As I say in the book, I wasn't picked. I wasn't.
Yes.
Nobody wanted me on the team. I mean, we're talking even in school, you know. So, yeah, it wasn't, you know, and. Yeah.
And the bullying issue, how did you deal with it?
Well,
what did you write in the book about?
Yeah, I understood that they did not view me as their equal, right? So in Statia, you know, I would, you know, wherever a child is growing up, they become that part of that community. So if you were born in St. Martin, for instance, even though you have a Jamaican parents or Haitian parents, you consider yourself a St. Martin. But your surroundings may not, because they know who your parents are.
Yes.
So I was in station. Now
you're more linked to who your parents are.
Than
being actual part of the community.
So I was a Kittitian.
Yes.
As station people say, I think it's nigger. And that term is still used today, even though back then, about half of the population had a St. Kitts connection. But for me, I internalized it, that I was not their equal. I was not part of them. I was not, and you know, when you go through American history and you read all of that information, you realize you're not really even a whole boy like they are. And when you're not picked for sports, when you're not, you know, I mean, I had a few friends, but it's the internalization of what you do with that information based on how you're treated. At a young age, it Yeah.
That's the reality.
Yeah, that's the reality.
That was the reality
Yeah.
as far as bullying is concerned.
Exactly.
Yeah, but of course you see yourself as equal with everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to. You don't have a choice.
Because I'm human, you're human, and
Yes.
there is no there's no two types of human. But internally, like I said, you know, it weighs on you.
Thank you, Calvin. Appreciate it. Book is called Learning the Business of Life. Makes for good reading. You can get your copy this afternoon at Pineapple Pete. 1999, you said it is?
1999 is the book.
Yeah.
I'll try to get some pennies. If not, it's $20.
That's it for today, folks. I want to thank you so much for indulging and for sharing the time. I want to thank Calvin for coming in and sharing his book with us. And this is going to be featured on my website, the book Learning the Business of Life. And, you know, you can go on and read up about it. Calvin will be at Pineapple Pete this afternoon at 5. You can get your authorized copy, so please make plans to drop by. And other than that, it's in all the bookstores and so on. You take care of yourself. We'll see you next Sunday. Goodbye.
Oh, we went over time? Man, time went fast.